Okay, welcome back. And I know that you enjoyed that segment with Koku Lumo. Now, let's get into something very important. Over the celebration, and even over the last, I think 2 days ago, there has been certain fires in certain markets that has actually taken traders to sorrow. Imagine what it would be like to wake up to your place of business and then it's caught up in flames. One of those markets is the Kantamanto market. Now, the Kantamanto market is one of the largest market here in Ghana. It spans over 10 acres of land. It has about 30,000 traders, and that is a very huge business space. We woke up to fire at Kantamanto market. It was established all the way in the 1970s, and it has seen the influx of traders of all kinds, second-hand clothing, shoes, and home appliances. So Kantamanto market is a place of interest if you're a business person. And so we're going to be looking into the Kantamanto fire. I have in studio, she is actually an embodiment of we're putting out your fire. She is ADO1 Leticia Akaadiini, right? Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
How are we?
We are doing well by the grace of God.
Yes. It looks like you are ready to put out some fire. Put out some fire in our lives.
We are always ready.
Yes, right. Anyway, well, Happy New Year to you.
Many happy returns.
Okay. So Kantamanto woke up in flames, and that's quite disturbing. Why do you think that markets over time, just suffer all these fires? What are we doing wrong?
Before I go ahead, let me say hi to your viewers, and also say hi to the Chief Fire Officer, my boss, DO2 Desmonaka. Yes, as for market fires, it has been with us year after year. The reason being that there are many factors. The many factors span from illegal connections in our markets. You see, the Kantamanto market is not a well-planned and built market. You realize that all the places that raised down completely are wooden structures. When after the fire, I don't know if you've seen it on TV, you can only see one container in the middle of all the place. It means that it was only that container that is metal. The rest of it was wood. And you know, wood is highly combustible. When we say something is highly combustible, something that can easily burn. And you know, wood, once it comes in touch with fire, it burns easily. It can just take within some seconds for a wooden structure to raise down. And so there are many factors. Some are illegal connections in our markets. Yes. Some are congestion. Some span to segregation. We don't segregate our wares. They are selling clothing. Some are also selling some volatile products like paint, tina. You know, those things, when they come together, they are highly combustible. So all those things, when there's fire, putting it out becomes difficult, because it's not all the fires that we use water to put off. Because some are class A fires, some are class B. For instance, the clothing and the wood, they are class A fires. But when it comes to the paint and other things, and oil and other things becomes class B. When you put water in a class B fire, you are rather compounding the problem. And you remember there was a video went viral, and a woman was saying that the fire service, when the first fire tender came, we brought petrol because the fire was not big, and then as soon as we started, the fire became even worse. When fire starts immediately, it will not be big, but as it progresses, it will be big. So even if we arrive and the fire became big, it does not mean we brought petrol. And you know, petrol is so, when you put petrol in fire, if I'm the source and I'm pouring petrol into fire, I will even die first because I am the source. Once petrol spreads, it will go to the fire and then it will come back to the source, and even the fire tender, including the crew, will all die. So that wasn't a factual something that the woman was saying. It was as a result of the ignorance of the woman. And other media houses also started sharing it, which is not right, because the woman was saying it as a result of ignorance, that we came with petrol in the fuel tanker to come and pour into the fire to compound the problem, which is not true. So the factors are many, and there are times we go there to educate. People are not abiding by safety rules in our markets. Like I said from the beginning, we don't segregate our waste. We
Great.
mix up
I want
everything.
us to get into the segregation. So whose job is it to actually make sure that we're segregating the market? Do you get involved in how a market should be structured, just in case there's a bit of fire? How do you get to work with these people?
Yes, this, when it has to do with building, whether it is a market or house, the fire service and the assembly we have to collaborate. The reason being that even if you are building, you have to come to the fire service with your building plan, the architecture drawing. We have to review the drawing, tell you what to do. Maybe, and then before you bring the decision, we have to know whether it is a commercial property, whether it is a residential building, and then we will know how many emergency exits we have. Okay. When we review the drawings and what you are going to, the purpose of that property, the emergency exit, the windows, the doors is not satisfactory, then we will recommend for you to go and put all those structures in place and then come back. But if it is what you brought to us is okay, then we'll give you what we call a fire permit. After the permit, when you finish building, we'll come back to re-inspect. We call it re-inspecting, to re-inspect the property, to see whether all the recommendations made before you build has been put in place. When we are satisfied, then we'll give you a fire certificate. When we are talking about the measures in place, we will tell you how many doors will be in place, fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, emergency exits, all those things. After we go to inspect, and then all those things are put in place, then we'll now give you a fire certificate.
So you need a permit?
Yes, please.
Before they give you the certificate. So that means that after you've received the certificate, doesn't mean that you've gone through all the process and then you're given a thumbs up. But how it is that we don't see that in our marketplaces, because you seldom see that. About 2 shops or 5 shops put together, they're just clumped together. Do you get to go to the market to check if these people, these traders, are going by the fire service rules even before these fires start up?
See, this markets, like you already said, started in the 70s. This market were built. But this LI 1724 was done in 2003, where you have to make sure you see the fire service. We build it. Even before then, we have what we call the fire prevention. We have to do that. But you know, we are in Ghana. Anybody that gets money wakes up and begin to build. But the right thing have to be done. So when we go to inspect, and the markets or the properties, residential, it could be residential or public residential or private, when the safety measures are not in place, the LI 1724 mandate the fire service to close premises down. If the safety measures are not in place. For instance, this studio, if I come here to inspect and the safety measures that I expect to see are not in place, the LI 1724 gives us the mandate, the Ghana National Fire Service, to close this studio down. So you realize that those markets were built before then, but yet, as soon as the market is ready, they've started putting the wooden structures, and it is the duty of the metropolitan assemblies, the AMA, they have that duty to go there and make sure the right thing is done.
Great. So take me through, by way of education, what would you suggest the stalls be aligned as? So if we have wood, you mentioned paint, and then you mentioned clothing. In the event where there is fire or something, how should the shops be arranged so that we are quick to, solve fire issues, so it doesn't have to involve all the shops? I mean, not everybody has to lose their lives in this process.
Markets have to be well planned. Let me take the Kanisi market, for instance.
Great.
How many times have you heard there's a fire at Kanisi market?
You seldom
It's
hear
one
that.
of the proper planned markets. So the market is supposed to be planned very well with layout, so that even if there's fire, the fire service can have access. In Kantamanto, look at people were accused. I don't know if you see a video went viral concerning between a journalist and the regional fire officer, where he went and listened to the traders and began to ask him. He got angry and he was saying the people were saying that when we came, we were rather protecting the bank. You see, from the beginning, I talked about fire spread.
Yes.
If this studio is on fire and I come here, we would try to manage the fire even though, because our core mandate is to prevent and manage undesired fires. So once the fire, we always want to educate to make sure the fire doesn't even occur. The reason being that even if the fire should occur, even though we manage it and put it off, but the property that has engulfed in fire will be destroyed.
Okay.
So when a property is on fire, even though we put the fire off, but we try to curtail the fire in such a way that we check fire spread to prevent the fire from spreading to other adjacent properties. For instance, this is the studio. You have the church here. You have other offices here. If the fire is here, you see that we'll be fighting the fire all right. But we'll try to put water on where the building is not on fire already. The reason is we are checking fire spread to make sure
it doesn't get there.
It doesn't get there. This one is already on fire. Then even though we put off the fire, but we make sure we prevent the other buildings from getting fire. And so, and another thing was access. It was only around the bank that we can have access to fight the fire. That is why you see the firefighters there. But the people were accusing the fire service of being just protecting the bank and not fighting the fire. That was not the reason. The reason was that that was the only access place we could have to the fire scene.
Great, great, great. Well, thank you very much, ADO Leticia Akaadiini. I really love your name. Very beautiful name. Let me take your last words in just half a minute, and then we can go. Your last words, please.
Yes, and then we're talking about fire safety. You know, when the country is not safe, we, the Ghana National Fire Service, want the country to be safe so that it will be investor friendly. If the country is not safe fire-wise, people will not want to invest. But when the country is safe, people will gladly want to invest. And so we want we are educating the general public to take the safety measures in place. The reason is that in Ghana here, we all prioritize security over safety. But maximum security without safety is no security. If you are safe, that is why we build and we are quick to barricade our properties and live in them, thinking about the thief. We don't think about the safety. So if you barricade your place and there's fire and you burn in the building with all the security measures in place, what have you done? There's no safety. So the two goes together. In as much as we are thinking about safety, we also have security. We have to think about safety, because safety is very important.
Right.
And then I want to put out the emergency lines of the Ghana National Fire Service, so that in case of emergency, you quickly call the fire service. We don't take money when we go to fight fire, because I also heard another allegation from a guy who said it was only one place, a house. That's like I was saying, that was built with, someone will say concrete, it means a block where concrete, sand, and cement. And he was saying that we went to put off that building because the man paid the fire service. That is what he had.
That couldn't have been it. So just put out the number and then.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, and so we want to say that fire service, when there's fire in your property and we come to put it off, anywhere we don't take money.
Right.
So we were not paid to fight the cantonment of fire, but we fought the fire as mandated. And so our emergency numbers are 192, 112. But those lines are toll-free and people can engage them. When you are calling us and you don't get us, quickly call this, our direct line, which is 0302 772 446. That is our direct line.
Great. All right. You heard the fire lady. What are you doing? Safety first. And so you should invest in all of that. If you're into properties and all, you know what to do. Get a permit and get a license. Then you're good to go. Now, up next, we're going to be having the world of sports. What's happening in the world of sports? I don't know what's happening with my U camp and all of that, but Nee, the sports guy, is poised and ready to get us into some sports. Let's go for a break, and then we'll be back.